My name is Tara Tucker. I am 40 years old. I am a child of God, a wife, a mother of 3, and I have a cat named Sir Chestnut. I am a hairdresser, a licensed and professional. I'm also a writer. And during this journey, I have discovered that there's so much in me in the area of writing. So, to be continued. In September, I was taking a shower. For some reason, I started doing this. I don't do that often. I've done it in the past, but I'm not a regular self-checker. So I paused because it didn't feel right. I just knew it wasn't right. I knew it wasn't right. It felt wrong, and I got scared immediately. I had the mammogram, and then I had to get the ultrasound. From the ultrasound, these things kept coming up irregular. So from that, I had a biopsy. The biopsy is what was the tell. I remember the day very well because I was at work at the salon. It was December 8th, 2016. That day was significant for me because one of my clients is a PR lady, and she also was starting a new television show with her brother. She asked me to be her official hairstylist for the show, as well as develop a segment, Tara Talks Hair, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So that day, a few hours later, I received a phone call from my doctor, and she asked if it was okay to talk on the phone with the results. I said yes, and she said, well, you were positive for invasive ductal carcinoma. I said, what is that? And she said, it's breast cancer. She said, it's a very common form of breast cancer. And then she continued talking about things, and I started writing what she was saying down, almost robotic. I'm writing it down, but I'm in shock, like, what? Like, how? What? I just couldn't wrap my head around it, but I'm listening to her. So she gives me the information. She tells me about a cancer doctor that I can go see, and she had it set up for the following Tuesday. And it's crazy, the same doctor that she recommended was a doctor that I was looking at up online, and someone else had recommended. So I said, okay. So I went to see him. He was amazing anyway. But that day was weird. I got off the phone with her, and I had a client that was coming an hour later, and I said, okay, God, it's me and you. Let's do this. And that's what I said. And guess what? I waited, and I took care of my next client. I didn't leave. I straightened up the salon. I got ready for my next client. I did the service, laughed and joked, and went all cleaned up, closed up, went home, waited because I had to tell my husband. That was not easy. So yeah, we discussed that, and that was hard. It's a lot of tears. It was difficult because we were just like, what's about to happen? So, that was December 8th, 2016. First day of chemo was the end of February 2017. I didn't know what to expect. I had feelings of, okay, let's do this, and what's about to happen? Like, let's get it over with, and what's about to happen? So I had both of those going on at the same time. Like, if I get it over with, I'll be at the end soon. So let's just get started. And then it's like, okay, I don't know what's about to happen with my body. Yeah. After that medicine got in me, after the effects hit me, and I was so sick, and fear did creep in because I had no control. I didn't know what was happening to my body. I had zero control. It was scary because I was crawling, like I could not function. So yeah, that was scary. Even though I know what God told me, and I know He had me, in that moment, I didn't know anything. In that moment, all I knew was my situation. So in the moment that I'm crawling and sick and like, oh my God, am I going to live? That moment was very scary because I had that moment. I had that moment like, and then I hear in my head, you are going to die. So the enemy was messing with me too. I was at my weak point. I was very weak point. When I hear faith beyond the diagnosis, in my life, I define it as regardless of what I faced, regardless of what I was told, regardless of the reports that were coming at me, is that I kept my eyes on God. I stumbled sometimes, but I didn't fall. My faith remained intact. Sometimes people say you can't have faith and fear. I disagree, because as a human, you can experience the emotion of fear. And that fear can push you. It can be looked at. It pushed me further to God, if that makes sense. You can be afraid to a point of knowing that, okay, I have no control of this. There's nothing I can do. And that actually pushed my faith, because I knew this is bigger than me. They just diagnosed me with stage 3 cancer, like breast cancer, that metastasized. That means it spread from the original location. So that's a little fearful. And that was my diagnosis. But even within that, my faith grew. It grew beyond what they told me, because I knew this is out of my hands. This is out of my hands. So faith beyond the diagnosis is just believing God, trusting Him beyond the reports